Hello, I'm Pam Hathaway, and this is my little pink home. So, for the last several years, I've had people encouraging me in my life, and they've said, you need to start a YouTube video or a YouTube channel. And I've put it off and I've put it off. Last year, I got way more consistent in my blogging. And so I thought, why not? So today it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. What better time to meet you folks than today? So, um, a little bit about me. For the last 25 years, I've been teaching high school, and I teach 11th and 12th graders. Mostly the courses that I teach are about understanding our values and understanding our priorities and how to set goals and how to create action plans and how to manage our times and manage our space and manage our money and budgeting, all of those sorts of things. The courses are so practical. I absolutely love it. Uh, but I think sometimes that a lot of the information are things that any of us could benefit from. So the other day, I was in conversation with one of my grade 12 classes, and one of the boys in the class said he could hardly wait until he graduated in June and could start his life. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, um, a lot of us do exactly the same thing. We think about, well, when I finally move, I'm going to start my life. When I start that new job, I will start my new life. When we get married, when I get divorced, when the kids move out of home, when I turn 40, when I turn 50, when I finally retire. Like there's always this watershed moment in our future that seems to be the pivot place to start our lives. And we all know that our lives started long before we graduated from high school. The person that we became is, or the person that I am today is totally um, a personality that was developed through the decisions that I've made through life and the decisions that you've made through life. So the decisions that I make today affect that future me. And so there's no waiting to start something. We've already started it. We started it years and years and years ago. So what we need to do is we need to start closing the gap. That's what the problem is. So I have this ideal view of what my life, the ideal Pam, would be living. And that gap is getting more narrow and more narrow the older that I get, and the more authentic that I am, and the more that I stop trying to emulate other people's personality and just allow my own ways to sneak through. Um, there's just a whole lot more satisfaction, more authenticity in the way that I live today because that gap is getting a whole lot closer. Um, but there is a gap. So I've got an ideal me. And that ideal me is about 50 pounds lighter. That ideal me lives in a house that is absolutely company ready at any given time. There's always food in the refrigerator ready to whip up into a meal in case somebody pops by and, we want to put on a spread. That ideal me always dresses in clothes that are flattering and lovely and make me feel beautiful and My mood is always happy. And I spend my days gardening and spending time with grandkids and doing all sorts of wonderful things and working on my own and bringing in all sorts of money because I'm working at my ideal, time frames and that sort of thing. So here's the thing. The decisions that I make today will determine whether that ideal life is lived out. So what we need to do is learn how to close that gap. So here's one of my biggest problems. And I'll share this with you on our very first video together. So I get all sorts of wonderful ideas of things that I want to do. And sometimes I don't have a lot of follow through. So for instance, in Canada, where I live, it is traditional, just like in Japan, that when you walk into somebody's home, that you remove your footwear because we live in a place that's got a lot of sloppy snow in the wintertime and muck in the spring and the fall. And it's just good manners to remove your footwear as you walk into somebody's home. So sometimes what people do is they put a little basket of cutesy little socks and slippers beside the door so that when people remove their footwear, they can put something else on. So this is a little sock that I did for my basket, my ideal basket that I wanted beside my door. I knit this. Probably it took me, I don't know, an evening watching Outlander or some murder mystery on Acorn. I love the murder mysteries on Acorn. So I did this. Didn't finish the second one. A couple weeks ago, I did this one. Dug up all this wool yarn that I had down in the basement that wasn't doing anything. And I thought, oh, I'll make these cutesy little slippers. One's knit and the other one's crocheted. Clearly it's not a matching set, but they're not done. So I could look at that and I could be frustrated and I could beat myself up about it. And I could say, why don't you ever start or finish something that you started? Why in the world can't you follow through? Or I can look at them and say, you've got some half-done projects that are really nice. You just need to take some time. We need to be kind to ourselves. A lot of times we have a tendency to pivot. A lot of times, we don't feel like finishing something. We get into something and realize that it's not really us. Here's the thing. It's going to take 2 movies for me to finish these up. I'm going to be able to sit down in a couple of evenings and I'm going to be able to finish that project. I have a feeling that the person that you want to be, your ideal you, can be manifested with just a few little tweaks. What do you want to do with your life? Have a look at those things that are standing in the way. If you want a company ready house, it's an easy fix. Walk through with a notebook. Take a few minutes. Go through every single room in your house and look at those unfinished projects. Look at jobs that need to be done. Look at stuff that you have that doesn't reflect the person that you are today or the person that you want to be, and start doing something about it today, because we're only losing time. We have 2 directions. This is my ideal, and I can move in the direction of that ideal, or I can go a completely different way. My ideal me, the ideal woman that I want to live the rest of my life as, is only a few decisions away. And I encourage you to figure out exactly what you want and make those decisions. So in the next few days, I think I will be making some more YouTube videos. I ask you, if you want to get along or jump on my blog and have a look at some of the stuff that I've written. My blog is mylittlepinkhome.com, and you'll see what I'm all about. So until next time, it's great to meet you, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.